Good day. Some 8 years ago, we started this journey of 1,000 miles. And with the first step, today, we'll have two of the people who started this journey on Press R. And the final step of stepping out of that train that is moving will be mine. And for that reason, 8 years back, we've decided to invite those who started the program. We've decided to invite politicians, scientists, lawyers, and those who have made the program tick over the years to be able to tell you the road we have covered, socio-economic and political life we have covered on this program, Press R. You're welcome. But before you discover who is who, I'd like us to have our press review, and done today for us by Emmanuel Avemny.
News on the spread of the coronavirus seemed to have given way for major happenings in Cameroon on newspapers this week. Though government backtracked on immediate burial of COVID-19 corpses and says families have 48 hours to do so on the Guardian Post, Human Rights Watch on government's neck over Healthcare Solidarity Fund and the Post newspaper. Then religious community receives Bia's anti-COVID-19 kit on the Guardian Post before WWF warns next pandemic imminent if urgent action isn't taken on the Post Weekender. Then Prime Minister Joseph Dion Gute is voted 2019 Man of the Year during the Guardian Post Achievements Award on the Guardian Post newspaper. But the Post Weekender zooms on what it headlines: CPP unleashes legal punch on Minister Tanganji. Before wondering aloud, is France CFA 2 billion booty tearing Victor Fotso's family apart? Then Horizon reports that Cameroon army announces victory in Bali, but separatists say we are holding onto our territory. When at least 24 Amba fighters, soldiers killed in military raids across the northwest on the Guardian Post. The Voice announces that UN Security Council members pick mediation to settle Anglophone conflict. Just when arrested Anglophone journalist Njoka Kingsley Fomonyoy charged with terrorism, the Guardian Post writes and wonders if the death of 15 clergy within 2 months is natural deaths or backlash from strange powers. UB's suspension of 17 students for examination fraud, the naming of His Lordship Michael Bibi as Chancellor and Pro-Chancellor of the Catholic University Institute of Boya, with the backing from Vatican, also forms stories reported by the papers this week. Until I come your way again, this is your Hour with the Press.
Okay, COVID-19 hasn't gone away, and the world has hit this figure of 8,792 cases thus far, with 464,204 deaths, with 4.1 million recoveries thus far. And we can't talk about what Press R has done the past 8 years without a contribution on COVID-19. First, to update ourselves and to see the contributions we have made in sensitizing people. And to do that with us on the program this midday, we have Dr. Fokam Joseph and Dr. Eric Tandy. So, Eric, where are we in terms of Cameroon? We gather that we've hit the 10,000 mark in Cameroon already.
Yes, that's right, Joe. We've gone past 11,000, that is above 10,000 confirmed positive cases. But also, we should also make it clear here that we've had more than 7,000 recoveries, which gave us around 3,000 active cases now in Cameroon, with 300 plus deaths. I think that is the bad part of it. But however, there is progress as far as more tracking and early dictation is concerned in order to curb the situation down.
Now, when you give the figures you give daily, are these cumulative figures, or how do you communicate?
Okay, there are two ways that we do. There are active figures, meaning the number of cases that have been reported all around the country for a day. We'll give it as per that day, and we also give cumulative figure as far as from the beginning. That is why you hear I said active cases. Active cases means after we take out the deaths and also recoveries, and then we have those who are still being under a recovery rate or under some assessment of treatment.
Okay. I'd like you to pass on the microphone to Dr. Forkham, Joseph. Now, what's the situation of the pandemic in the world today? And have you been able to solve some of the controversies? I mean, the scientific world, not you in particular, some of the controversies around the disease?
Actually, globally, Joe, COVID-19 is quite dynamic in terms of knowledge, in terms of discovery. And what we know during this past week on the 15th of June and also on the 17th of June, FDA actually is giving some cautions in terms of using chloroquine alone or hydroxychloroquine to manage COVID-19 or to prevent the disease, because they realize there is not a significant clinical benefit. And also what we actually know on COVID management also is that it is highly recommended to use hydroxychloroquine or chloroquine in combination with zinc sulfate, since there is a kind of synergistic effect using these drugs. For now, we have just a single study, which is a retrospective and observational study, which not yet published, so not yet peer-reviewed, encouraging this practice. So in the field of COVID-19 nowadays, we are expecting to see clinical trials using the combination of hydroxychloroquine, azithromycin, and zinc sulfate to make sure this might become the gold standard if the evidence is being confirmed. But now what we know in our context, because it's always important to contextualize the disease management, there are some critical risk factors that we have also observed in our study population, those who are COVID positive. For example, the elderly, those who are like above 60, they stand one of the highest risks of mortality when they are COVID positive. And secondly, also, the male really have higher risks of mortality as compared to women. I think Professor Bacham has also explained the underpinning mechanism on this issue. Then what we also realize is those who have comorbidities, like we have young adults, 40 years, 50 years, they are diabetic, they are obese, so they have like a body mass index above 30 or 40. They also have like cardiac diseases, or they have chronic lung disease or chronic kidney diseases. These are people who really stand at the high risk of mortality. Then one important issue is also those who have sickle cells. Sickle cells patients also stand at a very high risk. But now we also have two good news in our context. If you are a diabetic patient and you are stable, so they have succeeded in stabilizing your diabetes, then you have a minimal risk. Also, even if you are an HIV-infected patient and your viral load is suppressed, your immune system is stabilized, you also stand at a minimal risk as somebody who is not HIV positive. So this is what we have from update, and just some few challenges that we have also seen in the field. The testing is free. We have rapid testing that is used as a screening tool before we confirm your result using reference molecular assay. And treatment also is free. But surprisingly, we have been aware that there are people in the community selling treatment for 35,000 francs when the government is making effort for this to be offered free to patients. So we really hope that with your panel, we'll be able to communicate better so that people shouldn't get abused. And the last message is that if you are COVID positive, the critical period is that first week, from 0 to 9 days after symptom onset. Once you have crossed that period, then you might get a natural recovery. So we really want people who have any first symptom on COVID-19, if you are within that first week, hurry up, get tested. On that same day, you have your result. On that same day, you get treatment. And if you were among those who stand at a high risk of mortality, then we will be able to prevent the disease occurrence.
Thank you so much. We won't have the words to thank you, the doctors and the medical staff who have been doing everything, putting your lives at risk to be able to help us. And all we say is that the disease is real, and we should use the preventive methods which government has put in place alongside the WHO to be able to help ourselves, help you, help yourself. Thank you so much, Dr. Tande and Dr. Forkham. I'd like us to move on to the next phase of our program this evening, this midday, and this has to do with the evaluation of Press R 8 years after, and tribute to Press R because it will be my last presentation of Press R. in this capacity anyway. And I'd like us to begin with, we decided that those of you who are here, these are people whose faces have always been on Press Hour over the past 8 years. They've contributed immensely. And I would like to start with Professor Willibrod Nzengwa. Prof, we know that in public debate, the idea of trying to put through your point is important, but as someone who has to contribute knowledge for public consumption, facts, figures, and intellectual honesty are always very important in a debate program, and we want to use Press Hour like the example over the years. What has been your own observation of what we have done? You've been a contributor.
Well, thank you. I think that's an intriguing question. But I'll begin by defining what I perceive to be an intellectual. I've defined an intellectual to be anybody who has acquired sufficient knowledge and uses this knowledge at the service of the people without discrimination. I want to insist on without discrimination. This would naturally mean that there is supposed to be honesty, which is void of distortion of facts and figures, especially when we are supposed to inform or to convince people to follow a certain path. I think that this also is conditioned by the acquisition of knowledge, their analysis of the knowledge, and the dissemination of that knowledge. So all of this must be done with some truth, without any intention to hide facts, without any intention to twist the facts based on our political leanings, our social leanings, our ethnic leanings. So intellectual honesty would be trying to be as honest as possible, remaining humble in the manner in which you pass through your message without building unnecessary sentiments. So to the best of my appreciation, if anyone, based on that definition, tries to promote what I call negative ethnicity, too much of partisan politics, or some particular leaning, then that will be some sort of intellectual dishonesty. I want to relate that to Press Hour. I think that we have had the good, the bad, the ugly as far as Press Hour is concerned. But if I have to rate it, then I should say about 90% of what I have just described has been done within Press Hour. It is true that it is due most surprisingly to the handiwork of the moderator and moderation, because we've had people with different points of views who have tried to sell their individual, maybe selfish interests, and moderation or the moderator have almost always tried to bring a balance so that we have a clear share, a clear knowledge of what we are giving to the people without overdoing. I think Press Hour has done it, and that is why, to the best of my appreciation, it has been able to have many prizes. The best CRTV prize, the best moderated program over CRTV. So I think that the people who are viewing Press Hour or CRTV are very sensitive to intellectual honesty, and they have been able to do the judge and then rate the program to be what it is. I think it is thanks to all of the people who are here who have had divergent views, but who have been able to be moderated enough to be able to not to go to any extremes. I think that would be my take as far as what Press Hour has been.
Over the years, over 8 years.
Right.
Thank you so much, Prof. And I like Professor Nkui. That's a microphone there for you. Something on the sociological responsibility of the press, taking the example of Press Hour, when it comes to debate programs and the transmission of knowledge.
I think if you define who a journalist is, because Press is run by journalists
exactly.
with some of the technical inputs by experts, most of whom are here, is to be able to circulate truth, facts, and knowledge that is unbiased. Because if you don't do that, your social responsibility to the public and to society is not maintained. Because the responsibility, the social responsibility of the journalist is to collect the information, analyze it, and share it. And it has to be truthful, unbiased. And I think if you look at some of the themes the press has covered, you will begin to say, yes, to some extent, press did achieve some of its social responsibility, informing the public about the facts and figures. And which are this issue? We have just covered one, which is the COVID-19. We need those facts, because if we can relate the facts as they are, and not through the smoke screen of our own political and our own biases, we'll probably not be getting anywhere. Let me just take a few issues that you have covered. A few years ago, you interviewed the teachers and the lawyers on the crisis, and they told you what they felt. It's not up to a year you cover the major national dialogue. You also brought in leaders of religious groups to see to what extent the churches and religion can contribute in building peace. And I'm sure through press hours you were able to collect, and probably, because press is what? It's analyzing what has happened in the course of
exactly.
the week. And informing the public. And not just the public, informing the policy makers. Press would have done its job if what is said here really gets filtered into policy. Because each of the issues that you have raised is a fundamental policy area which needs a solution. But I must say that press has had also its own detractors. But there is no single human endeavor that doesn't have its detractors. But you must keep on doing what you think best can help you achieve your social responsibility. Thank you.
And one of the things which we have had on this program has been the moderator has been at the center of controversy sometimes because of the choice and this and topics and so on and so forth. And I would like the media consultant, Eugene, to maybe do a critical observation of what moderation is supposed to be and what has been the example of Press R.
Thank you very much, Joe. It's really a pleasure to be part of this turning point.
For your information, he was one of the first. He was amongst the first people who started the program. There are two of them here today, Brian, Franklin, and him. That was on the 25th of March, 2012.
It was indeed a pleasure to be with you on this journey, and that has given me the opportunity to observe you quite closely, particularly the way you run the program. Now, moderation is both an art form and a science. In the first case, the moderator relies on some innate capabilities. It's naturally flowing and able to drive a conversation, because I believe that ultimately what a moderator does is to enable a conversation to happen. But it could also be a science where you apply a number of techniques to achieve specific goals. And we've seen you do both. Allow yourself and your personality to drive the discussion, but also make some deliberate, calculated steps to ensure that the discussion moves in a specific direction. And this is good because every program has an objective, and unless the moderator is able to drive the discussion in that direction, they would have failed. And particularly when you have a situation where there are diversities of perspectives that need to be shared, and you try to ensure that all those perspectives are heard. Otherwise, you're going to have a discussion that is not a debate. But to be able to allow that conversation to bring out all of the perspectives that are available on a specific issues, I think it's a very critical skill which you've demonstrated over the years. Now, you could also try to understand the role of a moderator by looking at certain approaches. There are those who are hosts. Host is a word that is frequently used, but like any other host, the role here is to facilitate and make everybody in the room feel comfortable. It's a very informal approach to doing debate where you allow people to express themselves as freely and as openly as possible, quite similar to what would happen around a fireside or something around a meal. In fact, putting the word host in its truest context. But you could also be a provocateur, someone who would ask directly sharp, poking questions to enable and ensure that information is drawn out of the participants. Because indeed, you ought to consider the guests as repositories of information, and your job is to get that information out of them with the right commands if you were in computer sciences. But in this case, the commands are really questions, well-calculated questions to enable that these come out. And again, coming back, I relate all of this to you, that you use a combination of both. Serving sometimes as a host, keeping us comfortable, but also a lot of times as a provocateur. What I haven't seen, which is a good thing though, is you acting as an inquisitor, someone who is willing to get deep into the discussion, but is also very willing to push their guest off the cliff. And not only poking to get information, but poking to the point that one could say that you're using a knife. We haven't seen that. I think that has to do with your temperament as a person. Again, the fact that you're not on the brash side of moderation, which we can see in other programs on television in the country. And that's been quite helpful in defining Press Hour and giving it its unique character. Press Hour is not the only debate program on CRTV nor on television. In fact, there are quite a number of programs that are designed almost exactly like Press Hour. But for Press Hour to be able to stand out and be very different in character and content, it has to do more with the quality of moderation that we have seen on the program over the years. Thank you.
Us to go to Professor Sami Beban-Chumbo was supposed to be here, but he traveled to Ngaoundéré for academic purposes and sent a representative, Carol. And Professor Beban-Chumbo was supposed to handle a courtesy in language usage in debate programs, because sometimes it degenerates into open quarreling and so on and so forth. But what has been the example of Press Hour and how should debates? Has Press Hour lived up to expectations?
Okay, thank you. I'm honored to be here to represent Professor Chumbo, who is my mentor. He's been my supervisor, PhD and master's. And now I teach at Cameroonian languages and cultures at ENS, thanks to his supervising. So he has sent me to tell you that this platform has been a platform for the dissemination of knowledge that promotes tolerance and national cohesion. Because through the knowledge people have been having here and disseminating here, people have been learning from one another. And in order to be tolerant, you need to know the other, you need to understand the other, and you cannot understand something you don't know. So this platform has really offered the opportunity for people to learn on different subjects, on different cultures, and the different people, the different participants were tolerant enough not to be shouting. Well, he also said the first time he came to this program, he was really shocked by the way people were intervening, the way people were shouting at one another. But as time went on, he was really happy to see how the moderator made people to become more, I would like to say in quote, civilized, and to tolerate one another. Because when there's no tolerance, when there's no tolerance, it's because of ignorance. And there's ignorance because people don't learn. They don't want to know about one another. They don't want to know the culture of the other people. Yes, that's what he said. Okay. And he also said this ignorance will lead to fear, which will also lead to a lot of conflict. And that's what we are seeing in many countries now. But this platform has been one that has been promoting this culture of tolerance through understanding of one another, a platform for people to say what they think, and the others were respecting their opinions, even if they didn't share the opinions.
Okay. Thank you so much. You were going to say something again, but one of the things which you said, which touched me there, was this spirit of tolerance, which has come with the program and helps people to express themselves without being offended. Now, he just talked there about the moderation style, my own style, let me put it that way, and it's not unique to me. I'm expecting Yvonne Muma to be here shortly, but one of the things which we have had difficulties in handling is controversies. And these controversies are issues which we, or in debate programs, you must be able to fashion the subject in such a way that it sounds debatable, and also make people really have a grasp of what they are talking about. I like you, Bayan. I know you yourself, you're a controversial figure, but how have we handled controversies on Press R?
Yeah, well, a debate program is fashioned because there are controversies. Okay. If everyone thought the same about everything, there wouldn't be need for a debate program. The debate program is a kind of arbitration, actually not arbitration, but a moderation platform where people of different points of view can come and express themselves for the public to be the referee. So that's the essence of a debate program like Press R. It's true that, and I must say this, that Press R deviated somehow from its original character, because being a Press Hour, it is a program designed for the press and pressmen to discuss the issues they covered, or like you often say, what the press fared on during the week. So it started off as a entirely press panel, and then progressively one expert would be brought in when there was a topical issue. Let's take COVID, that a medical doctor or a scientist like Professor Mbacham could be brought in to bring some expert views into it, and then it drifted further into a panel for experts, sometimes with a journalist coming in to punctuate, sometimes no journalists at all. In any case, it's been a moderating platform, and if there were no controversies, as I said, there wouldn't be a debate program. Controversy, of course, because the simple thing about controversy is an issue for discussion in a public platform where people don't agree. And you know that man won't always agree. So whether it is Bayan who is controversial or the issues that are controversial, there will always be controversy. So because there is controversy, because people reason differently, because people see things differently. If you look at just this platform, if I take just the front line, Madam Yvonne Muma just arrived, who is SDF. Professor Elvis Ngole is CPDM. Chief Professor be called traditional ruler, but he's CPDM. Next to Professor Ngole is the Secretary General of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement. Professor Nkui is of the SDF. I can end there. For the rest, where he has withdrawn from the SDF, but blood is thicker than water. So you have just this front line. Just in this front line, you have people of different views. So if you take an issue of governance, for example, or you take an issue of whatever, you would have at least 4 opinions here. If not real innate opinions they develop because of their political allegiances. You need to thrash that. Each of them will say they are right. I take the example of COVID and humanitarian support that was going to be given. We have a shortage of supplies, whether you like it or not. We don't have enough face masks around the country. We don't have enough hand sanitizers. And a political party set out to say we can help. And somebody thought because it was a political issue.
I wouldn't want us to go to that detail.
Yeah,
now.
Joe, you can moderate.
Yes.
But controversially, I will say what I'm going to say. That because there was difference of opinion, when you have a panel like this, we people of civil society who are not affiliated to any political party can come and give a distance, a withdrawn opinion to say whether the people need this is more important or whether we should think about the political position of it.
Thank you. I said you were also a controversial figure. So. Now, Tewi, you are a communication scholar, and one of the controversies around Press R has been the choice of topics and choice of guests as well. Sometimes women accuse me of only having men on Press R, but it's a difficult issue to get women to come to Press R. I must confess that apart from Yvonne Muma and Madame Lydia Efimba of late, who would accept to come, all the others, even during this era of COVID, where the women are very present in the medical domain, they have turned down my invitations on several occasions. So this question, the controversy over choice of guest and choice of topic.
Thank you very much, Joe, for having me here. I think Press Hour is a reflection of our country, the different, I would say, challenges that we encounter socially, culturally, politically. And that is also reflected in the choice of people who come on Press Hour. Some people think that a Press Hour should be a national assembly where every tribe, every region, every division should be represented. But I think that the driving force for the choice of who can come on the program and how often that person comes is the contribution that the person can make. You must not necessarily, and these are things we have to grapple with. We must have somebody from the Southwest. We must have somebody from the Northwest. We must have somebody who is a lady, a gentleman. We must have a woman. Those are things that to me are secondary. What is important to me is what contribution can a person make. And I know, Joe, how difficult it is as late as Sunday mornings, you are still looking for guests.
That's very true.
And you can only deal with what you have. Or some people will accept, and at the last minute, they turn it down for different reasons. But your program must go on the air. It's an appointment you have with the audience. And people don't understand that. And I've often heard this criticism, oh, it's a platform for some people or from a particular region to express themselves. Oh, no, these people from the Northwest are dominating the program. Oh, no, it's an agenda. They have a hidden agenda. They want to, no, to me that is a non-event. It is the contribution that a person makes that should determine his participation in the program.
Thank you. Now, I must confess here that Professor Elvis Ngole has been one of the most available. Even when he had an accident some years back, he came here with a bandaged hand. And Prof, thank you and congratulations for keeping Press R alive. And there is something peculiar with you, Republican values. And we know that Press R is, sometimes you are even accused. I would want you to, from your own perspective, to look at the contributions of Press R in terms of Republican values.
Yes, Joe, thanks for giving me this opportunity. What I would say, Joe, is that if I'm here today in the company of these very eminent personalities, men and women, distinguished as they are in their various fields, It is not because of the invitation you addressed to me. It is because I could have simply done what some do to give an excuse. But I thought it was important to be here on this history-making day because of our convictions in what Press Hour as a TV debate program.
Mm-hmm. We're already on the topic of Press Hour. For those on the news bar, the graphics, please. You can switch to the next topic.
And because of our loyalty to what Press Hour stands for. You know, Joe, you as the anchor and the very masterful anchor man that you've been and that you are, may take certain things for granted. But you just talked about the Republic here. You know what you probably didn't focus on, or maybe you probably took it for granted, is this, that this platform that we call Press Hour is a reflection of the whole idea of the Republic. The Republic being a society in which politics is done and driven by the people, and that it is the people that matter at the end of the day. And the people in their imperfections, the people in their diversity, they have all kinds of ideas. Some are controversial, some are not controversial, but the bottom line is that the Republic, by its very conception, by its very definition, the people must be who they are in their differences, in their diversity, in their controversies. But at the end of the day, all of them belong to
the Republic
and are part of the Republic. This is what TV Press Hour has been all this while. That at the end of the day, the Republic has always come out here in this platform of the TV Press Hour as being a republic in which people, men and women will come. Some will be biased, some will have whatever agendas, but at the end of the day, they are here because TV Press Hour is the Republic of Cameroon. Joe, we shouldn't forget that the conception of the idea or the program was not wrong, because it's a reflection of the vision and the wisdom of our founding fathers. Mm-hmm. They wanted a place, a society where people can differ but continue to be together, looking forward toward the future. And that is why on this press, that which is not working well in our republic, that is not wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. It is that a republic, by its definition, because it's a place driven by people, the people in their diversity, in their differences, have to have different things to say about this is not going well, this is not. It is fine, as long as they are still the republic.
Within the framework of the republic.
You've always had to also the future, meaning you have been the messenger of solutions.
Okay,
you have not been a defender, a promoter of trouble.
If I leave, Prof will not allow people to talk.
Thank you.
That's another issue in debate, and this has to do with the therapy of talking things out. And many people say Press Hour has been able to provide that solution, help people talk out, so that at least they feel comforted that they are listened to. Medically speaking, can that be something which Press Hour can pride itself of?
Well, thank you very much, Joe, and congratulations for having brought this program this far. I would want to start first by deconstructing the topic, public debate as therapy. To say that there can be three forms of public debate. Debate in public is one. Debate by the public is the second. And the other one is a competitive argumentations that are put up, pros and cons, and then they try to see exactly who is the winner. Healing or therapy in itself has to do with improvement in the well-being. It could be mental, it could be physical, but it could also be social. And when you look at what press has been, it has combined the first two definitions of public debate, debate in public by the public. So this platform has given the opportunity for some others who would never be heard to be heard, and that is very soothing. It has also taken up with topics and controversies, but sometimes provocations, especially when it is said in honesty and sincerity. And then people who are watching relate to that. And how has it been debated by the public? They give these live feeds on Facebook, and they say exactly what they are. Some people at home actually throw objects at the TV because they don't like a speaker, or it has provoked an anger, and that in itself is also healing. Now, we do not have a lot of psychotherapists around. In the United States, they're called shrinks. So there are two types of individuals. There are shrinks and those who look for shrinks. And sometimes when we don't have the shrinks, the way we react is actually a form of therapy. Now, for it to be soothing to the panelist as well as to the audience, it has to be packaged in a particular way. But most people don't even know that before the panelists actually come on the show, there's a lot of preparations that they do. And they must be able to deliver their message in the first 90 seconds that they're given the floor. Otherwise, the microphone could be taken away from them. And if the message is not delivered, they don't get that healing. At the same time, it must be structured with an intro and an outro, and there's a content in between. Now, in delivering the 90 seconds turbo talk, a 10-year-old in the house, at home, must be able to understand that message. If they don't, then it's not bringing that healing component. And in short, once you begin to understand exactly what is a public debate, then you understand that you're doing service first to yourself, and you're also doing service to those who are listening, because it's a way that they eye themselves. Indeed. And so the press hour has been a debate in public, by the public, both for the panelists and for the audience, and I think that has been soothing for both parties. Thank you so much. And Honorable Amy Francis has been one of the most available persons also, especially during the year, a lot of controversy around the Anglophone crisis. Well, maybe a word to Press R.
Well, thank you, Joe, and your team that has been in fact, making Cameroonians over the past 8 years to realize what, in fact, has been going on in our country. Because if you listen to Press Hour and if you notice the view is within the country and even out of the country, everybody wants to follow up Press Hour because of the debates. And the way you have been managing this team, I want to say you are really a super model in managing conflict, because we used to see how tense some of your programs go, and the tactful way you calm things down and put them back on rail has been so unique. And to say the whole team did wonders, but you, as the leader, because if it didn't go well, you'll carry all the cross. But now that it's been very successful, we say thank you and congratulations. And I think that you will not forget CRTV after today. No. Once in a while, the people still like to know, to hear about you and to hear from you. Because,
a journalist does not throw his pen.
Because Cameroonians, as we're talking, almost everybody, even those in the bushes everywhere, all politicians are focused on Press Hour within this period. So congratulations. And I think I can't just end like that, Joe.
Just
thank you. And
give the microphone to...
So congratulations once more, and I wish you all the best as you leave CRTV, and you go on retirement, but you are not tired.
Okay. As a journalist, Bayan did say something earlier on that you people were so angry with me that I was supposed to limit this thing to the men of the press and all whatnot. But things evolved to change the format because of the need. What do you have to say as a participant and as an observer?
Joe, thank you very much for, first of all, I'm honored to be amongst the very important personalities, and some of the guests who have been on this program for the past 8 years. And I think I thought Bayern had spoken my mind when he talked about the guests who you invited to the program, because at some point we felt that the program was actually shifting grounds, because I remember on 2 or 3 occasions we didn't even see a single journalist, and I was like, was this a political program or press hour? Anyway, that has gone, and we think those who will take over from you will have to
yes, fix it.
Shift from that ground.
Okay.
And then, in as much as I appreciate the moderation which you did, which of course I think I watch most of the TV debate programs. I want to talk about Cameroon, and I think you've done a very excellent job moderating press hour for more than 8 years. But I have one regret. Almost everybody, it has been said here, we had members of government, and let me call them decision takers of this country, who watched press hour from my private discussions with them, very, very jealously, but not because they wanted to learn anything from the program, but they wanted to see who is saying what against government. I say this because for all the things that we said on this program about the Anglophone crisis, I followed people making very useful contributions about what could have been done for us not to be here in relation to the crisis in the 2 Anglophone regions. But I'm not sure that one of those proposals has ever been taken into consideration. That's to tell you that those big people, permit me to call them, they watch the program so that they will call and bully you. You have not told me that, but I know, because I know how they operate.
No, nobody has ever bullied
Joe,
you.
I didn't want an answer from you.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying that I know that.
Okay, but maybe you give the opportunity to others to say something also.
Can I just say that you are going, but we know that those who will take over from you, or whoever, we have said a lot of good things about you, but you know, if I were to write a book about Joe and press hour, I will not paint you white completely. So there are other things that I will not say here.
Okay, you tell me after.
So that when I'm writing a book about them, it will be white completely.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Honorable Mbile, you have had time to participate on press hour. Maybe a word to press hour.
Thank you, Joe, and thank God that I am here with all these eminent personalities. I may like to say that I think I'm one of those who is happy that the initial target of the program was diverted a little to include other aspects of life. I think that journalists, as the press, are always there to comment on life. And there is nothing more important in life than politics. And so if you want to leave politics out, then you're deceiving yourself. Politics is always there. So I think I support Joe, who sometimes had to bring in politicians to comment on the matters of the day.
At least I have a supporter here.
Yes, and I want to say that Press Hour has represented to us that voice, that ability to say things that otherwise we would not have had any opportunity to air. And we want to thank you for the courage you had. Your moderation has been good. You are one of those who have succeeded not to be accused. Well, we had some accusations across the floor here, but I think that they've been done in good stead.
Okay.
With friendship and happiness.
Yes.
You have kept people able to say what they want to say without the hard feelings.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Barrister Fombat?
Yes, thank you, Joe. I think my observation about Press Hour is that it's a program that has been able to stand the challenges with the changing times. One of the strong points of the program is that educative aspect, in the sense that the program has always made sure that the best brains in the country, experts in the various domains, are the persons called upon as guests. So I think that made the program to have very, very strong value. And also the fact that the program comes up at a prime time when a majority of Cameroonians are available to watch television has also been a positive mark of the program. And one other strong point of the program is the fact that it is not discriminatory in terms of political ideology, in the sense that all political opinions are brought on board, and I think that it has also contributed in the sense that debates have been, or the public has been made to understand that political difference is not a talk of war. Exactly. I think that I've been able to. One of the programs I was sitting with Professor Evan Ngole and Bandam, I was in the middle, and I actually noticed that Professor Ngole understands that he has a right to his opinion as a CPD still hold, and Bandam has his opinion of blessed memory, has his opinion, and the fact that...
When you say what you say, thank you so much. Yes. Barrister Ndong is here, is the Secretary General of the CRM. Can you have the microphone, please? Maybe a word, because Barrister Ndong has been very, very outspoken. I'll end with Yvonne.
Thank you, Joe, and televiewers. This program has been an eye-opener on debates and serious topics of the day in the country since 2012. It's 8 years today. You have permitted us to come, the hardliners, those who bring points to correct my senior brother, father, Minister Ngole here. Without not this program, I would not have ever come closer to him. Just like if you had invited the head of state here, I will be sure to get closer to him. So that is the positive aspect of it. I want to add here that I will tie up with the Guardian Post publisher. I remember at one time this program was suspended. It was because of the hardness of speeches.
It has never been suspended.
For some time, it was not operational.
It's because of
Mr. Joe, you always defend.
I'm telling you that Press R has never been suspended.
It has gone off for some time. Agree with me.
No, because of events.
Because of events. But we took it out there because we are the voices of the people out there. When we come on studio, we'll talk what the people think out there. And Mr. Joe, the people out there equally are really happy and not happy. The way you cut some hardliners who talk against some of the policies of government. So you should adjust that. And I hope as you are retiring, those people are waiting for you to come and sit like us, criticize the government equally, and then you know when somebody creates a program, it's original. So those who will be coming will be looked differently, but then they should keep up to that spirit. We want to applaud and appreciate the efforts you have done because this program has exploited the Anglophone problem, has exploited the weaknesses of government in running this country, has done too many goods to people. Some people even don't go to church. Can you imagine? They take the other service in the evening because they want to listen to Press Hour. There are those who go early in the morning because they want to come to listen to Press Hour. It's an interesting program. So
thank you. Yvonne, yes, thank you for coming. One of the most regular women on Press R. We want to appreciate you.
Thank you.
For always being available when we ask you to come.
Thank you. So much has been said. I will just take us back to 2016 with the advent of the Anglophone crisis. I want to say my participation on the panel saved me from kidnap. Maybe people don't know that. I was surrounded by those boys, and one of them just looked and said, "No be nada mami where they defend we all the time so." And that saved me. To tell you, Honorable Engwe said it, wherever Cameroonians watch this program. And because you said you were leaving last week, so many people have come. So Press Hour don't end.
No,
and I told people, no, it's not ending.
Yes.
I will be a panelist today. It's just a send-off for Joe.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for your choice of
yes.
No Southwest, no Northwest, but please bring people who tell Cameroonians what they want to hear.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. And I want to invite those who have been behind the Press R. I'll begin with Catherine Neba, who was one of the first people who was doing the press review. Just come this way. Or maybe just take the microphone or just this way. And then that's Emmanuel Aviamnui. Is she around? That's also Lioti Lisonge, just here. Maybe a word Teke, you've been talking, so I will not give you the floor today. I will take down all what they have reacted, the reactions we have had, because I'm going to publish this last edition in a small pamphlet. So for those of you who are watching, maybe a word, Catherine and Emanuela.
Okay, thank you so much, Joe, for inviting me to spend these precious farewell moments with you. I did the review for about 2-3 years, and it was such an enriching experience for me, and I learned a lot from your wealth of experience accrued over the years. Now you're going, but then you're still around, and
indeed,
we can always reach you. I wish you well. May your retirement be restful and fruitful. Thank you.
Thank you, Emanuela.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joe, for the opportunity. I remember the first time you called me to do press review on Press Hour. I wondered how you thought I would do a good job, because that was the first time I was doing a press review. And I remember telling my friends that I'm sure after this he will say, Emanuela, don't come back. But I was surprised that after then you kept on calling me, correcting me on what I had to improve on. So it's been an amazing period all along with you. And please, your phone will continue ringing. Indeed. I want to invite Moki and Kilian Da. Kilian is one of the founding members. Uncle Peter Isoka was supposed to be here. And Barrister Nico Hale was supposed to be here as well. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it. Our hearts go to them. These are the young men who will be probably you'll be seeing on Press R. Moki and Kilian, maybe a word.
Yes, a word. By just saying a word, I've said a word.
Okay.
With somebody who said that as Joe is going, Press R is going to die. No. CRTV leaves, so Press R leaves. And we've also had the opportunity to present the program, to coordinate, to moderate it, to prepare it from the background. I think Moki is here, I'm here. We are not new faces to Press R.
Okay.
And CRTV even has a big basket from which can...
Yes, a word from Moki, please.
Well, the coach is not going yet. We think we still count on you, Joe. Excuse me for calling you Joe.
No,
and
it's on the media, you have a right.
And we think again, you will keep your list of these fine people, some of the finest in the whole of the country, so that we can still benefit from their contributions as you leave us.
Okay. Take a word.
I'm very pleased to be here today, as always, and it's been 12 years together.
8 years.
Yes, 12 years together in the newsroom.
Ah,
and
okay. I see. I see.
And 8 years on Press R, and you've been like a father to me. So it's always going to be that relation, father-son relation, and you are not going. You're just changing from one room to another in the same house. So
okay.
We'll always be together.
All right. Honorable Enui, and maybe the other people who, let me end up to say, I want to extend my special thanks to Josephine Manfu, who is sick. She is the first producer of the program. That's Leokadi Mangui, who is behind the machines, and Kakwang, who are doing the directing today. We've also had Madame Florence Tang. We've also had Echu Henry, who's been very instrumental. Maegi, my cameraman, and the sound technicians have always been very helpful. And the one and only plateau man we have in the house, I'd like you to come right here. Let them see you. He's the rare breed of those who are supposed to be taking care behind the scenes. They tell you camera 1, camera 2. This is the man. And thank you so much. We're doing this. We're not supposed to be doing that.
You have done it already.
Yes. And to say that goodbye, sorry, that like Teke did say, for now, I'll stop presenting Press R and I'll stop work at CRTV formally. And it could take another shape. But right now, I'd say goodbye to all of you. Yes.
can't go without questions.
Thank you.